What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 9th day of January in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Offering a glimpse into this year's national budget, which will be presented next Friday, Vice President Bara Jagdeo revealed today that the budget will focus heavily on community issues which have arisen out of engagements with citizens across the country. He said while the government has already made moves to address some of those concerns, the budget will see resources being made available to have those issues addressed at a faster pace.
But this year, there'd be an enhanced focus on additional community issues. The question of garbage disposal, the waste management has become a problem now in many of our communities. And so an enhanced focus on how we support these communities now to collect the garbage and dispose of it in a manner that would bring benefits to people in the communities without increasing the cost of doing it for the individual households. That will be part of the focus.
Additionally, Mr. Jagdeo said the subventions for municipalities and neighborhood democratic councils will be increased to help with works at the community level. He said another chunk of the budget will be dedicated to security.
And then on the fiscal side, the new budget will incentivize people to work harder because the taxation system would evolve in a manner that rewards those who make greater efforts and who work harder. So that's the principle for the budgetary tax measures that we are being guided by when we come up with the specific measures.
And further, the Vice President said the successes of the PPP administration will be a prominent feature in this year's budget, even as he charged the minister responsible for finance to also highlight the challenges that the government has faced.
I expect the Minister of Finance, and he's very good at this, to point out the challenges of the past 4 years and to show the successes of our government too. And we will not be sidetracked from showing our successes in the budget. And so definitely he will talk about the issues that irk a lot of our detractors, that they want us not to talk about. He will be speaking of those things.
The minister responsible for finance and the public service, Dr. Ashni Singh, will present the national budget in the National Assembly next Friday. President Irfan Ali also recently said the budget will build on the foundation set over the past few years by his government, and there is expected to be continued heavy investment in infrastructure, health, and education. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. it all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Honey, what are you doing? Let's cash out. Let's cash out.
Shop $5,000 or more at any Massey stores for a chance to win a 2024 Nissan Qashqai Sense and $100,000 every 2 weeks with Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot Promotion.
Guyana, get ready for a special night of 70s soul featuring the Stylistics.
God bless you. You make me feel brand new.
And Blue Magic.
So let the sideshow begin. Hurry, hurry, step on in.
Valentine's Day, February 14th. Save the date. The Stylistics. And Blue Magic, it's classic 70s soul. Coming to Guyana Friday, February 14th, 2025. Don't miss it.
Make the world go round.
A search is ongoing tonight for a Chinese national who has gone missing after falling overboard while offloading materials from a barge at a construction site for the new Demerara River Bridge. The incident reportedly took place last night at around 8:20. In a statement today, the Ministry of Public Works said a search and rescue operation was launched just after the worker was swept away in the river by the strong current. The search and rescue operation was launched by the company's emergency response team with support from the Coast Guard. The ministry said despite the extensive search efforts throughout last evening and early this morning, including the deployment of a diver, the missing worker is still to be located. The search efforts are expected to continue until the worker is found. The Occupational Health and Safety Department of the Ministry of Labor has already launched a full investigation and has been meeting with other employees of the company as well as company officials. 3 days ago, the Labor Ministry encouraged increased safety practices in workplaces after the country recorded a 60% increase in fatal workplace accidents last year. Now to elections 2025. The Guyana Elections Commission today promised that it will deliver credible elections this year, even as the opposition political parties continue to frown on the Commission's preparations, the current voters list, and the voting process. The Elections Commission responded today to a number of concerns raised by citizens in the media, particularly the hiring practices at the Commission. The Commission assured all stakeholders that it will deliver free, fair, transparent, and credible elections, and that they should guard against persons whose sole intention is to undermine their trust and confidence in the Commission. GECOM has been accused on a number of occasions of filling positions with the blessing of the 3 government-nominated commissioners and the chairperson, retired Justice Claudette Singh. In a release today, GECOM said from all indications, it appears that there is an agenda to push unsubstantiated accusations with the objective to undermine the confidence in the operations of the Elections Commission and to deter participation in the electoral process. The Commission said it finds it necessary to challenge the accusations that have been leveled against it. GECOM said in relation to its hiring practices, it must be noted that the process is highly objective and transparent. The commission said vacancies are advertised and all commissioners are given the opportunity to shortlist suitable candidates from the applications received in accordance with the set criteria. According to the commission, the separate lists submitted by the commissioners are combined and interviews are conducted to determine the best suitable candidate from among those shortlisted for each post. GECOM said in most cases, different candidates were preferred by the government and opposition nominated commissioners, thereby resulting in ties, consequently leaving it to the chairman in her deliberate judgment to proffer a conclusive decision. GECOM said it condemns the insinuations that the commission is colluding with persons to rig this year's elections and has promised transparent elections. GECOM said the chairman of the commission has explained on numerous occasions that her decisions are neutral, based on consideration of the applicable criteria and in the best interest of the organization, and the position remains. The commission said it will continue to execute its constitutional mandate to deliver free, fair, and credible elections. Earlier this week, the opposition-nominated members of the commission raised concern about the commission postponing a number of important meetings on important issues ahead of this year's elections. Well, the General Secretary of the governing People's Progressive Party, Vice President Barra Jagdeo, has promised that his party will run a clean election campaign to win the confidence of Guyanese at the upcoming elections. At his weekly press conference today at Freedom House, Mr. Jagdeo said he recently met with officials of the Private Sector Commission, and those officials raised concerns about the upcoming elections. He said the PSC members said they were concerned about possible instability in the country and the impact that could have on businesses.
I assured them that the government, although I was speaking as General Secretary, that the government is going to address the question of security robustly to ensure that the people of this country, they can exercise their constitutional right to select a government freely and fairly in a manner that will not lead them to be intimidated or causing violence to suppress their votes.
The Vice President said concerns were also raised about divisive rhetoric that usually pops up during an election year and its potential to cause polarization. He said he assured the members of the Private Sector Commission that people's race, religion, their gender, and age are not factors that will be used in a divisive way in the campaign by his party, the PPP. But the Vice President also said that the doubt that the opposition continues to cast on the Elections Commission and its preparedness remains a concern. He said the recent court action filed by the opposition to force a new round of registration to sanitize the voters list could create conditions and set the stage to cancel or affect the conduct of the elections. Mr. Jagdeo said the PPP wants elections on time and will not be falling for any trap. He said the Elections Commission must ensure all of its decisions are in keeping with the law.
We want elections on time. We want GECOM to act in an open, transparent, lawful manner. We want all the citizens of this country to have the right to choose their governments freely in a secure environment. And we, at least in the PPP, we intend to campaign on our track record and the fulfillment of our promises, not by dividing people.
And as it relates to the opposition's calls for biometrics and the clean voters list, Jagdeo said those matters have already been canvassed and decided upon.
That the biometrics matter to prevent voting or to vote has already been decided by the courts a long time ago by the person who is now chairing GECOM and ruled illegal in the past. You cannot prevent that. So on those two grounds, on biometrics and on the quality of the voters list or the so-called padding of the voters list, we dealt extensively with that. And I said, we don't want anyone to do what the PPP wants. We want GECOM to act lawfully and in accordance with the Constitution of Guyana.
The Guyana Elections Commission is still to make a definitive decision on the use of biometrics at the place of poll. The Commission has said some laws may have to be amended, and that is out of its hands.
Guyana, get ready for a special night of 70s soul featuring the Stylistics.
God bless you. You make me feel brand new.
And Blue Magic.
So let the side show begin. Hurry, hurry, step right on in.
Valentine's Day, February 14th. Save the date. The Stylistics. And Blue Magic, it's classic 70s soul, coming to Guyana Friday, February 14th, 2025. Don't miss it.
Make the world go round.
GECOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors OLE. GECOM has posted the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed and, if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you were 18 years or over on December 31, 2024, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not in the PLE, apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person whose information on the PLE is incorrect can apply for such information to be changed or corrected. Any person applying for a change or correction to his or her particulars must provide the relevant original source document, birth certificate and a deed poll for a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate for a correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Wednesday, 15th January 2025. For further information, contact GECOM at 225-027829 or visit our website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Well, President Irfan Ali has instructed the Attorney General Anil Nandlal not to appeal the recent judgment by the Supreme Court, which awarded $24 million to the family of Quindon Bacchus, who was shot dead by the police back in 2022. The Vice President Bara Jagdeo made the disclosure at a press conference today.
Apparently, the AG and the others were planning to appeal the judgment, and the President made it clear there should be no appeal and that the award must be paid to Quindon Bacchus and their family.
Back in December, Solicitor General Nigel Hawke said while the state accepts full liability for Bacchus's death, the quantum of the compensation awarded to the family would be challenged. At the time, the Attorney General's chambers felt that there was an overreach on the part of the presiding judge in the case. For his part, the Attorney General said when judges are asked to assess compensation, it must be guided by previous award of similar circumstances, or such a ruling could open the floodgates for wrong compensation to be given in the future. Bacchus, a father of one, was shot dead on the 10th of June 2022 in Haslington on the east coast of Demerara during an unauthorized police operation. Police Lance Corporal Christophe Demerara is facing a murder charge for the death of the young man. In addition to Demerara, 2 other police ranks were also charged with attempting to obstruct the course of justice. Opposition Member of Parliament with responsibility for Foreign Affairs, Amanda Walton Desir, is pushing for an urgent meeting of the Foreign Relations Sectoral Committee of the National Assembly, as Venezuela continues to violate the Argyle Agreement and the order of the International Court of Justice. In a statement on Tuesday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced plans to hold elections for a governor of Guyana's Essequibo region, which he continues to claim. The Guyana government has condemned the announcement and has also informed the international community of Maduro's latest violation of the Argyle Agreement and the order of the International Court, which is hearing the border case. In a statement today, MP Walton Desir said she has since written to the Minister of Foreign Relations, Hugh Todd, urging the immediate convening of the Foreign Relations Sectoral Committee in light of the 2 formal protests made by Guyana. In that letter, MP Walton Desir emphasized the critical importance of keeping the Foreign Relations Committee fully briefed on the escalating situation and the measures being taken to safeguard Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity. She said it is deeply concerning that the Foreign Relations Committee, which is a crucial body responsible for addressing matters of national and international significance, has been convened so infrequently, especially during times of heightened tension. She said the current circumstances demand that the committee functions effectively to ensure transparency, informed decision-making, and the confidence of the Guyanese people. The Shadow Minister of Foreign Affairs expressed dismay at the lack of regular engagements of the committee, despite ongoing regional and international challenges that directly impact Guyana's foreign relations. Walton Desir said robust dialogue and consultation are essential for crafting a united and effective response to the threats against the nation's sovereignty. She said the infrequency of the meetings undermines the role of the committee and risks leaving critical foreign policy decisions shrouded in opacity. She said, adding that it's imperative that the committee fulfills its mandate to oversee and guide Guyana's foreign relations strategy during this critical time. The opposition member has once again made it clear that she is ready to collaborate with the government to address urgent matters and is awaiting the prompt action of the Minister of Foreign Affairs to facilitate the convening of the committee. In a statement yesterday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, while reminding Venezuela that Essequibo belongs to Guyana, said it would be a flagrant violation of the most fundamental principles of international law for Venezuela to attempt to conduct an election in Guyanese territory involving the participation of Guyanese nationals. Months after an indigenous delegation called on the government to investigate growing allegations of rape, sexual abuse, and misconduct in Amerindian villages by persons, including those in positions of power, the Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai, is reporting that such reports are very minimal. Last April, Mark Anthony Rodriguez, the head of the indigenous delegation that spanned 3 districts, regions 2, 6, and 9, told reporters that the violence perpetrated against indigenous women and children was becoming a norm and in most instances was allowed to go unnoticed by those in authority. But at a press conference on Wednesday, the Amerindian Affairs Minister maintained that such reports are very minimal. Minister Sukai went one step further, telling reporters that she has never received any such report in her capacity or even in her private capacity.
In every report that I conclude a visit, domestic violence, sexual abuse, incest, and criminal activities have not been reported. And I'm there as a minister myself. Has never been reported to me. personally as a minister engaging at the community level, publicly or privately.
Sukai said as Minister of Amerindian Affairs, she has visited almost all of the indigenous communities and has had even one-on-one sessions, in addition to public meetings, but she has gotten no such report.
And I've not encountered any of those reports. I'm not saying doesn't exist, but I've not encountered those reports. Maybe they don't feel that I'm the right location for the issue.
She said reports of rape, domestic violence, and misconduct may have been reported to the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security or the police, and not her ministry, the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. However, she admitted that the Welfare Department of the Amerindian Affairs Ministry has received reports of teenage pregnancies, which encompasses rape, and in those cases, the department would collaborate with the Human Services Ministry to provide the necessary support. In his long list of complaints, Mr. Rodriguez said investigations into sexual misconducts that were allegedly committed in the confines of Amerindian villages have been hampered, and in some cases due to political interference, resulting in cover-up.
But I don't know who they're speaking about, so I would not venture to make a comment. They should be able to disclose who are those people in high offices, and they should make the report if they have the facts and the evidence. It's something I don't know of, and I don't know who the people in high offices are.
But it was not so long back in 2023 when the then Minister of Local Government Nigel Darmlal faced allegations of sexual assault, resulting in his resignation as a government minister. A teenage schoolgirl had alleged that he sexually assaulted her. She eventually withdrew her complaint.
GECOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors OLE. If you were 18 years or over on December 31, 2024, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GECOM has posted the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change or correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. Visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. Opening hours. All GECOM registration offices will be open Mondays to Fridays from 8 hours to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 hours to 14 hours. For further information, contact GECOM at 225-027829, 226-6557, 8 and 9, 223-9650, or visit our website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. Venezuelan opposition parties and their supporters were holding protests around the country on Thursday in an 11th-hour effort to put pressure on President Nicolas Maduro, one day before he's due to be sworn in for his third 6-year term. The BBC in a report said the opposition and the ruling party are locked in an ongoing dispute over last year's presidential election, which they both claim to have won. The country's electoral authority and top court say Maduro, whose time in office has been marked by a deep economic and social crisis, won the July election, though they have never published detailed tallies. The government said it will arrest opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez should he return to the country, and has detained prominent opposition members and activists in the lead-up to the inauguration. The opposition says Gonzalez 75 won in a landslide. It has published its own vote tallies as evidence, winning support from governments around the world, including the United States, who consider Gonzalez the president-elect. Days after Stuart Young was chosen as Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley's successor at a parliamentary retreat in Tobago, he's now in limbo, as several MPs who were in that caucus are said to now be refusing to endorse him on a document indicating he will have majority support in the House of Representatives when Rowley eventually steps down. Cabinet sources have told the Guardian media that leader of government business Camille Robertson-Regis started canvassing MPs on Tuesday to get their signatures for the document, which will be forwarded to the president eventually. But sources said as Robertson-Regis began attempting to physically obtain the signatures of the MPs who participated in the recent vote, she met some hurdles. The Guardian media said it was reliably informed that at least 9 MPs have initially declined to register their signatures. And finally tonight, international news. A pair of massive wildfires menacing Los Angeles from the east and west were still burning uncontained on Thursday, 2 days after they ignited. But firefighters managed to beat back another fire, scorching the Hollywood Hills. The fire between Santa Monica and Malibu on the city's western flank and the Eaton fire in the east are already the most destructive in Los Angeles history, burning nearly 28,000 acres so far, an area exceeding the size of Disney World, and turning entire neighborhoods to ash. At least 5 people have been killed. Thousands of structures have been burnt, and nearly 180,000 people have been ordered to evacuate their homes, officials said. The death toll is likely to rise, Los Angeles Sheriff Robert Luna told a press conference on Thursday morning. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.